Episode 5, Developing Authenticity Courage. Welcome back to The Authentic You. We've explored knowing your value and reconnecting with your authentic voice. But knowledge alone isn't enough. You need courage to live authentically in a world that often rewards conformity. Today, we're focusing on developing that courage. Authenticity requires vulnerability, the willingness to be seen as you truly are, to express unpopular opinions, and to follow paths that others might question. This vulnerability feels risky, but that's where courage comes in. Authenticity courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about moving forward despite it. Like anything, it's built gradually through small acts of truth-telling and aligned choices that slowly expand your comfort zone. Let's explore some practical ways to develop your authenticity courage. 1. The micro courage practice. Begin with small, low-risk, authentic expressions. Maybe sharing a genuine opinion in a safe setting, or saying no to a minor request that doesn't align with your values. 2. Rejection resilience. Deliberately pursue small rejections to build the tolerance. Ask for things you normally would. Express unpopular but authentic opinions, or share creative work publicly. The future self visualization. Connect with your future self who is living authentically. What advice would they give you? What small step would they encourage you to take today? The authenticity circle. Identify and cultivate relationships with people who appreciate your authentic self, creating a safety net for bigger authentic expression. 4. The authenticity circle. Identify and cultivate relationships with people who appreciate your authentic self, creating a safety net for bigger authentic expressions. My own journey toward authenticity courage was not linear. It has not been linear at all. One of my biggest moments of truth was when I, for the most part, have always been someone who spoke up and defended other people. I didn't always do that for myself, especially in certain situations. But I will say, learning to navigate that and use my authentic voice and self in certain settings to defend myself and protect myself and just really express myself, my needs, my being. An example would be one of my sisters and I have been on our own journey together to heal from our upbringing and our relationship, and building and creating a safety net with each other to be our authentic selves. Because as much as we're alike, we are also so different. And I appreciate that, but it can definitely make communication difficult sometimes. And more recently, we had a pretty intense conversation. I've been going through a lot of stuff and trying to make decisions that feel scary and overwhelming and all that stuff. But she called me and we had a conversation, and it was just, I had said, like, just give me a second, because I was like crying, and because it's very hard for me to express my needs, and I'm learning to do that, and I'm pushing myself to do that because I want to have healthier relationships. I want to have a more fulfilling future. I want to continue being my authentic self, because growing up, my needs and everything, I didn't matter essentially. So transitioning into your adult life and realizing, like, hello, this is my life, this is your life. What are we doing? Like, we just have ourselves. And, I say this too all the time. You're stuck with you at the end of the day. How do you want to feel about that? Or how do you want to feel with yourself? I want to feel good. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel safe. And that is what this is all about. But with her, I was like, I'm sorry, just let me get this out. And then, whatever. And it was a massive growing pain that we had gotten through again. And it just gives me hope. And as much as I found myself wanting her approval a lot for a lot of things, also realizing and recognizing that because we are so different and we have totally different, like, life things going on, it's just very different. So me being my authentic self and expressing to her what I needed in that moment, because sometimes we don't know what to say. You can't really ever say anything to make someone else feel better, but, like, sometimes all someone needs is just to know that they're not alone, to know that you are just an ear that are there because she's, in another state. But yeah, sometimes you just need to know someone's there with you. You're not totally in this alone. For me, at least, that's my biggest thing. And it's just been really, really helpful. We've learned to be like, do you need advice or are you just venting? That's something I still have to actively remind myself to check with people because I'm so quick to be like, how can I help you? But sometimes people just want to vent and that's okay. So learning those things because I had to learn that for myself and about myself, it's just helped better navigate my relationships. And it takes a lot of courage for me to speak up sometimes. I love to yap, but especially with like random people, even though I've always been able to have conversations because people just do tend to just come up and talk to me. But another thing I will do to expand my courage is, and I love doing this, complimenting other people when you're out. And I mean, obviously you have to genuinely mean it, but like, oh, your hair looks really nice today. This girl I work with the other day, I loved her shirt. It was like so fun. It was giving like boho. She called it her disco shirt. And yeah, I just was like, I really, really like it. And it looked nice on her. And it just was like a good vibe. So just complimenting other people. So you can start with that if it feels awkward to talk to other people. And you don't have to really say anything more. Now let's talk about managing the fears that come with living authentically. Fear of rejection, fear of disappointment, fear of uncertainty, or fear of regret. And I just want to say that it's very natural to have fear come up when you are trying to live more authentically. Usually the top fears would be like fear of rejection, fear of disappointment, fear of uncertainty, or fear of regret. But just know that honestly, no matter what happens, there's a way to come back. You can always come back around and it'll be okay. Just living as your authentic self. I would say learn to get comfortable with being uncomfortable for a bit. Because it is going to be different. You are deconditioning what you've always known or what you've always thought or what you've always outwardly expressed. So when you start to express what's inside out, it is a bit of a journey. And it can feel uncomfortable. They call them growing pains for a reason. But I promise you, hold on. And it will be okay. This week, I invite you to practice the authenticity ladder. Choose one area where you want to be more authentic. Identify tiny steps of increasing vulnerability, starting with what feels most comfortable. Commit to climbing just one rung this week. And in our next episode, we'll explore setting and maintaining healthy boundaries, which are essential guardrails for authentic living. If this episode helps you feel more courageous, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need this message. In the comments, I'd love to know, what small authentic step are you committing to this week? And remember, courage grows with practice. You don't need to make dramatic changes all at once or overnight. Small, consistent steps toward authenticity will transform your life over time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you found value in this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who may find it helpful. And until then, we'll see you in the next video.